Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, the Crypt Keeper. And you're listening to Three Guys in a Flick. The good, the bad, and the gruesomely absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hi, Alice. Want to make babies?
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from an insane asylum, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Heidi ho.
And to my left, we have the... Hey, where's the professor?
You did check for him after we left the asylum, right?
I thought I did.
What was the count?
I don't remember. I'm sure he's in the car.
Either way, he'll make some new friends.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine. Tonight we are talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. And I will just go ahead and preface the entire show to our listeners by saying, I'm sorry.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this your favorite of the series?
You are wrong, and I will correct you. Back when we did 2, I told you that 2 wasn't my least favorite, and you're like, what was? And then you said, oh, don't tell me. Well, here it is, my friend. This entry into the Nightmare series is my least favorite of the 8.
See, that's where I think you and I disagree in that this is if you don't count the remake, this is my second to the bottom of the least ones that I like. Number 6 is my least favorite.
Yeah. And that is right down the road. So stay tuned for that one. Released on August 11th, 1989, The Dream Child was directed by Stephen Hopkins. Screenplay by Leslie Boehm. Story by John Skipp, Craig Spector, and Leslie Boehm. Based on the character created by Wes Craven. And it stars Robert Englund, Lisa Wilcox, Kelly Jo Minter, Erica Anderson, Danny Hesselland, Joel Seeley, Beatrice Popola, Whit Hertford, and a bunch of other victims.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for a mere $8 million and brought in $22 million. So, yeah, this movie comes out less than a year than Dream Master.
Yeah, and it was filmed in 4 weeks and edited in 4 weeks so that the director could make his way to Predator 2.
That's insane. This movie definitely does feel rushed and just kind of, to me, it just feels thrown together. And there's nothing really too original in this film. Either we've seen it in other movies or we've seen it in other Elm Street movies, but nothing other than the premise, and we'll get there, did I find anything too original.
Yeah, I mean, this has the lowest body count of any Nightmare on Elm Street movie with only 3 deaths, as well as they complied so much with the film critics or the
MPAA.
With the MPAA that they cut out a lot of the gore, a lot of the blood, a lot of the different sequences, a lot of dialogue. So you're absolutely right. It feels rushed and just thrown together.
Well, I will say this. I don't know if dialogue would have helped, because this dialogue and these characters, we'll get into it. And as far as the cut sequences, I agree with you. If there was one saving grace, I think I found it. If there's one saving grace to this film, I think it's Greta's death. And I think it got shortchanged because the original idea, or what they actually physically shot, and you can see it on YouTube, is way better, in my opinion.
Well, originally she was supposed to be an anorexic character, and so the whole feeding thing would have made more sense to me.
Oh, her being a supermodel, I just assumed anorexia was involved. And so the feeding her thing totally made sense to me.
And I guess there was a lot of extra story that they cut out that would have made certain sequences make more sense.
I don't know if anything could make certain sequences make more sense. So other than just padding the runtime, which I will give The Dream Child another mark, a good mark. It's only an hour and 28 minutes. So we didn't have to suffer too long. This movie is directed by Stephen Hopkins, and Stephen Hopkins went on to do Predator 2, Judgment Night, Blown Away, and Lost in Space. And here tell, I think way back when in 1999, Lost in Space actually dethroned Titanic as the #1 movie of that week.
Oh,
Well, because Titanic had been out a year already. You know what I'm saying. But The Dream Child is Hopkins' second movie, and I know that he comes from a lot of music videos, and he's a very visual, artistic kind of visionary, if you will. And I know that they had a lot of good ideas coming into Dream Child, but yeah, it just wasn't executed very well.
yeah. I guess his first movie was Dangerous Game. I've never seen it.
No, me either. And then you go on and you have Leslie Boehm, who does the screenplay, but you have 3 people listed here as writers, and I think there were 2 others. So you have 5 people working on one story.
Yeah, they went through so many different writers. Like the writers, I don't know if they kept leaving or getting fired, that the story kept changing to just this convoluted mess. The only thing that made it from the original script to the final script was the line, "It's a boy."
Yeah, I heard that too. And I mean, that just goes to show you, 5 writers, what a fucking mess. And unfortunately, that's what we got in this film, was a fucking mess.
Well, you do know that this film did win an award.
A Razzie?
It won a Razzie for Worst Original Song.
Which song was that?
It won the Razzie for Iron Maiden's Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter.
Which is funny and kind of misleading. The lead singer of Maiden did that song. It wasn't Iron Maiden.
Okay.
It wasn't until after the movie came out that Iron Maiden, the band, remastered it and redid it. But yeah, that's funny. Iron Maiden gets a Razzie. Well, and I tell you what, we raved about 4 soundtrack and 3 soundtrack. This is not a very good soundtrack.
It's hard for me to hate it because at the time, I was actually a big Kool Moe Dee fan.
Of course you were.
I loved Wild Wild West.
Of course you do.
And so when he was on this, I didn't know it was a diss track against LL Cool J. I just thought it was a good song.
Surprise trivia question. What was LL Cool J's response to that song?
Oh, I looked that up too, and I knew it, and I don't remember.
Mama said, knock you out.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't call it a comeback.
Did you know at the time they were having a beef?
Never. Not once.
I never picked up on that.
And that's what happens when we don't have the internet or social media or anything that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this cast. I know that I raved about Alice and 4, and I still stick to my guns. I think Alice is a great final girl, and I'm talking about Lisa Wilcox. However, she is not given a lot to do in this movie, and she's not given a lot to work with. And I think she did the best that she could, but there are times in this movie where she came across super annoying. And I'll just say this cast of new kids isn't nearly as lovable as 4, 3, 2, or 1. So that's part of why this is my least favorite.
I agree 100% on that. I was going to say the same thing. I liked her in 4. I thought she did a great job with what she had to work with in 5. They just didn't give her anything good, any great dialogue, any good time. I'm sure they cut out probably a lot of good pieces.
Yeah, probably. Danny Haslam comes back as your favorite character, Dan.
Yeah, again, just not needed.
And I feel like he lost a lot of weight. He looked really different to me.
I thought he looked a little more rip.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Maybe he was just more bulked up because he's supposed to be the star quarterback.
Ah, you fucker. That's one of my questions. Yeah, and I'm sure you were delighted that he gets killed off pretty quick.
You know, funny thing is this could have been his redemption for me. This could have been, you know, again, like the last movie I said, he was just cardboard. This movie, being this expecting father and all that, maybe could have, you know, redeemed him. But they killed him off right away, first thing, just to get him out of the picture.
Yeah, and that's one of 3 deaths, which, as you mentioned, 3 deaths in a Nightmare on Elm Street film?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
And not really that creative. I mean, it wasn't, oh, fuck, the way he died, and we'll get to that. But again, it was one of the scenes they cut down so they didn't get the X rating.
Although, aren't there only 4 deaths in the original?
Yes.
Okay.
That is true.
So,
But the original,
it was the original.
it was still spooky as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Kelly Jo Minter is one of the new kids. She plays Yvonne, and we actually got to see her at a Crypticon a couple years ago where you were actually dressed up as Freddy.
I was, and she pointed that out. She called me out and took a picture with us.
Yeah, that was
And
a lot of fun.
She was really nice to meet, really pleasant. I'm actually surprised that I didn't realize how many movies she's actually been in.
I knew her best from Summer School, and then this, and then you were reading off the list. She was in Lost Boys. I noticed that if you go back and listen to the pod. But yeah, she's been in a ton of stuff.
New Jack City. I mean, just all kinds of movies she's been in.
Yeah. Another new addition to the cast was Erica Anderson. She plays Greta, which was, to me, I felt that she was not that the actress did a bad job. Again, she did with what she got. But the character of Greta, I just was very hollow to me. I'm not going to say shallow because she wasn't about herself, but just like a cardboard cutout of a character.
She came across as being almost looking a little bit like Cindy Crawford to me.
A little bit. I think she was meant to be, but yeah.
And I think because this movie was so rushed, we didn't get to build on any of the characters, so we didn't get connected to any of them. Like I think you were saying that earlier. So she was just one of those characters that seems like there could have been more story behind her. There could have been more drama, more elements to make us even care about her, but we weren't given time to even get to know her.
And not that, the characters in 4 we got a whole lot of time with, but for some reason, I like those characters better. And in this one, the only one that I kind of liked and was like, oh, he died, was Joe Seeley, who plays Mark, the comic book guy. I liked his character. I liked that he didn't again dismiss what Alice was saying, like Yvonne was. But we'll get to that. But I liked his character.
Yeah, he wanted his character to be emo goth. And that's how he kind of played his character. He wanted him to have black hair, black clothes, chains, all that kind of stuff. But they decided, no, we want this colorful, fancy character, which didn't fit his personality.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Freddy. This is probably my second least version of Freddy. I despise him in 6.
Yeah.
The look, just all of it. Now you're playing with power. But yeah, I know that they tried to make Freddy look older, and I know that he was being reborn and was kind of a different Freddy, but I didn't like Freddy in this because he was way too jokey and was not scary even a little bit. And what was with those long fucking arms when he gets reborn?
I don't know. Maybe she smoked while she was pregnant.
Yeah, maybe.
For me, I've said before, I've always liked the MTV Freddy better. So, I liked him in 3. I really liked him in 3. I liked him in 4, but 5, it felt like they were trying to overdo the MTV Freddy with just forced lines, forced gimmicks, just many of those little one-liners as they could fit in that just didn't even seem well thought out. So you're right. I mean, this is probably one of my least favorite Freddys from all the movies.
Anyone else in this cast jump out at you?
What'd you think of the kid, Whit, who played Jacob?
Creepy as fuck. I mean, his eyes and just his look, he kind of scared me.
I thought he did a pretty good job for being an 11-year-old kid.
I didn't realize he was in it for like 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. I remember for some reason thinking he was in it way longer, but I must have been thinking of Dylan from New Nightmare.
For me, one of the actual fun parts of rewatching this movie is I had forgotten the whole thing of how Freddy was using the kid. I just remember she was pregnant. I remember Jacob had a part in it. I didn't remember that he was getting through to other people's dreams using Jacob. So I was like, at the beginning when I was watching the movie, I was like, what the fuck? How's he getting in all these dreams, without Alice's help? So it was kind of fun to actually go through realizing that again.
Which I love that concept.
Mhm.
I love the dreams of an unborn child, and that's how Freddy's using them. The problem is they didn't execute it very well, in my opinion.
I agree.
So,
I agree with that. And I also was thinking that kid would have been just a little peanut inside of her. Its brain wouldn't have even developed very much. So would it really be dreaming at that point?
yeah, well, we don't know how pregnant Alice is per se. And we can get into that when we talk about the opening.
Okay.
I was delighted to see that they brought the guy back who played Alice's dad from 4. And I was even more, I found another redeeming quality.
His redemption arc?
No. They referenced Rick.
Mm-hmm.
They said, she asks if he's disappointed in her being pregnant. And he goes, no, it'll be nice. I hope it's a boy because it'll be nice to have a little boy running around again. And like, aw. They referenced Rick. I thought that was very nice of them.
I thought it was kind of a kick in the crotch that she has a kid and she names him Jacob Daniel, whatever the last name is, and not Rick, Richard Daniel. Not after her twin brother that died.
Well, she liked Jacob better.
Yeah. Where did Jacob come from? Just from the kid saying, hey, by the way, my name's Jacob.
and she goes, hey, I like that name.
Yeah.
So, yes. All right, bud. So it's you and me. You want to do a little trivia?
Yeah, I think we should go back and forth, ask each other questions.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
See if we can stump each other.
Oh, we're going to try. All right, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, fire away, guy.
In the very beginning of the movie, how many times does the bell toll at the start?
6.
It was 4.
4. Damn it.
I know. It sounds like 3, but then one of them starts, I think, after the music, or one of them ends after the music.
What did Freddy call Greta as he was stuffing her face?
Bitch?
No, it was filet de Barbie.
I thought that's what he served her.
Oh, that's what he calls her.
Oh, okay. What number do the orderlies stop counting at before they jump to 100?
72.
72. Very good.
Bam. What did Mark's sucker say?
Eat me.
Close.
Lick me.
Yes.
Lick
there
me.
you go. There you go. Good job.
What does Freddy say to Dan while looking at the champagne bottle?
You shouldn't drink and drive. Oh, no, you shouldn't dream and drive?
No, that's what he says at the end.
Oh, fuck what?
Bad year, Dan.
Oh, that's right.
Quarterback.
Close. Close. According to Dr. Moore, how long can a baby stay in a dream state?
Most of the pregnancy, like 3-4 months. Wasn't a long extended time.
I'm gonna need a more specific answer.
72 hours.
Close. 70%
70%.
of the pregnancy.
Okay.
Good job.
What is Alice's last name?
Johnson.
Johnson. It says it on her ultrasound.
Yeah, but she was Alice Johnson in the first one.
Yeah, I figured
Or
that.
in the fourth one. So, yeah, I remember that shit. All right. What sport did Yvonne play?
Diving.
Yes.
Or
Oh,
swim
swim.
team. I don't know.
Yep. Either way.
What's the name of Mark's superhero character?
The Phantom Prowler.
Phantom Prowler. That is correct.
Sounds more like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Lock your doors. The Phantom Prowler is among us.
Considering some of his drawings just was like the Punisher.
Well, yeah.
What does the license plate say on the Freddy bike that kills Dan?
Freddy.
Freddy. Very good.
Yeah. All right.
And bonus,
Yeah.
what state was on the license plate?
California.
California.
Which makes sense because it's Springwood, California, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there you go.
And the professor is the winner for not having to watch this movie.
You know what? Allow it. It's 1989, and Alice has found peace after the events of the previous film. She's now dating Dan, and the nightmares seem to be over. But the peace is shattered when she begins experiencing haunting visions, including a disturbing dream of herself as Amanda Kruger, the nun mother of Freddy. During a vision, she witnesses the birth of a grotesque baby that transforms into Freddy, signaling his return. As Alice confides in Dan, he reassures her she's in control of her dreams. But Freddy has found a new way in. While racing to Alice, Dan falls asleep and is gruesomely killed in a dream turned reality. Alice awakens in a hospital to the shocking news. Dan is dead and she is pregnant. Soon after, she's visited by a mysterious young boy named Jacob, who seems connected to the nightmare world.
So this movie starts like I think the first time I saw it, I'm like, did I go to the right movie? Is this a porn?
It starts off pretty steamy, but do you notice you don't really see anything but shoulder blades and like biceps?
The teenage me was looking hard.
The adult me was still looking hard, but yeah, no, it's kind of just like a big tease.
And to spoil things for you, I did look it up. The shower scene, looking through the glass, that was a body double.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it with my cousin last night, and I said pixelated boobs because you know with that shower cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why it was rated fucking R.
For me, I thought this movie started out okay. It actually started out well in that her whole dream sequence, I liked the different perspectives that, one moment she's on the table, the next moment she's looking down at the table. It actually felt like a dream. It felt like a good start. And I kind of liked the way they brought back Freddy. It was a very different way, very unexpected. And when you heard the title was going to be The Dream Child, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's a baby. Now he's a fucking child or whatever. So, and they went back to the same church from 4. So it all, for me, started out well.
I thought that this first dream sequence was decent, and it sets up the story. Freddy's not back per se, but she's still going into the dream world. And what we're shown is Amanda Kruger, Freddy's mom. And she's actually Amanda Kruger in this dream of hers. And so she gets locked into the asylum with over 100 maniacs where she's there and raped repeatedly, and the result of that is Freddy.
Well, another thing, you bring up a good point with being locked in there. 2 times in this movie, we get to see Robert Englund without the makeup on, and it was actually fun to see him without the makeup and spot him and try to follow him and get to see his actual facial gestures and everything. He still looked menacing even out of the makeup.
My favorite use of that is after she wakes up and she sits up in bed. The inmate Robert Englund's in bed with her.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. That was a good jump scare.
Yeah.
Because it's, she's awake. No, she's not. Now she is. And then we cut to graduation. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. These motherfuckers look like they should be graduating college, not high school. Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong.
And I was also thinking, if it's a year later, we get no mention really of anything that happened in 4, right? And so I found it not odd, but it was kind of weird to me that they had this new group of friends.
Was it weird at all that she went completely blonde?
No, she wanted, she was going to be blonde in 4, but
Yeah.
Kristen was blonde. So I don't know. I don't know whose decision that was.
I like also how they kind of set us up to think that her father was still no good, drunk, kind of a mentally abusive guy. And then they give him that little redemption when she's walking through the crowd.
Yeah, I liked it too. And she goes up to Dan and she says, I'm having these dreams again. And Dan's like, oh, fuck, of him? And she's like, no, not necessarily, but I can feel that he's around or whatever. And he's like, remember, you're in control. You you guard the gate. And, it'll be okay.
Well, he also says, you just don't dream him up.
Dream about something else.
Yeah, don't bring him back.
Yeah. And then after graduation, everybody leaves and they're going to have a big party, whatnot. And Alice has got to go to work back at the Craven. And she's walking, and all of a sudden it's dark, and it would appear that she is in a dream. But as far as we, the audience, knows, she's just walking back from graduation because the diner's across the street.
We also get the familiar Freddy jump rope rhyme.
And I think this is the last one it's in.
Well, this is the last movie. There's one more time it appears in this movie, but this is the last of the Freddy movies up until Freddy versus Jason.
Is it in Freddy versus Jason?
It's in Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's the last time we get to hear it.
Yeah. Yep. And then she somehow finds her way to the asylum. What did you think of the overall wide shot of it?
I thought it was great.
Did you?
I liked the asylum shots and that whole darkness of all of that.
And I thought maybe we had potential, right? And to me, it clearly looked like a painting or a drawing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But I liked the scale of it. And it was way different than what we saw in 3.
The thing, though, I didn't realize, I thought you were talking about inside the asylum. The outside of the asylum, I kept thinking it was so big, so gothic looking. Does that really fit in a small Springwood town in California to have this big gothic, looking thing that probably is empty? And
it doesn't match 3. Because in 3, when we first meet Sister Helena Kruger, she takes Neil to the tower where it happened.
Yeah, isn't it just right across the street from the hospital?
I think it's at the hospital. So there you go. And so Alice makes her way in, and this is where we see Freddy being reborn.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm asking myself, is she a dream? Or is she asleep? Or what's really going on? When did she fall asleep? Because I like to figure out when these characters fall asleep so I know, but it doesn't appear that she is. And so, what did you think of his whole return?
Like I said, I thought it was a creative way to bring him back, because they always come up with fun, creative ways, usually to bring him back and then eventually a creative way to kill him. They did a good job at bringing him back, not a great job at getting rid of him.
Oh, see, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the puppet. I didn't like the effect. And then when gross little slimy slug Freddy grows into Big Freddy, what's with those long fucking arms?
I kept trying to figure that out myself. I didn't know if it was just, he tried to grow himself up so fast that he mutated himself or what. And I was hoping when I first saw it, this is not the way it's going to be throughout the whole movie, to have him have these extended arms and fingers.
I thought that too, but I kind of thought it about the whole sequence. Right? I'm like, oh, fuck, this was kind of forced down my throat and dumb, and it's a boy. Yeah. Great job, writers. Great job. And then Alice wakes up, and she's at the diner. And that one chick's like, dude, you're fucking super late, and blah, blah, blah.
It's been 4 hours.
It's like she blacked out, right? And then we cut to the pool, because there was a pool party, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, maybe? See, nothing original. And why does Dan have his shirt off in a indoor pool and his jeans on? Right? I get if you were in your swim trunks. You didn't find that weird?
Well, the way I saw it was, we always, say boobs when we see boobs and everything. This was maybe a little eye candy for dates that were brought to the movie.
Maybe, but why not put him in swim trunks?
Yeah, I don't know.
The jeans thing was weird to me in an indoor pool.
Well, then again, now that I think about it, have you ever sat around an indoor pool? How steamy and hot it is?
Yeah.
I might take my shirt off, show my muscles.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would take my pants off to show my muscle. So,
yeah, but if you don't have a bathing suit,
who doesn't have a bathing suit?
I don't know. Dan.
Well, I don't know.
He doesn't seem like the most intelligent guy in the world.
It's weird. And so Alice is freaking out, and she's calling Dan, and she gets a hold of him at the pool, and she's like, Freddy's back. I don't know how he fucking did it. I'm fucking freaking out. And Dan's like, okay, I'm on my way. And now we get Dan's death.
Well, she's also like, get here fast.
Yeah. Well,
so rushing him.
Well, wouldn't you be?
I don't know, because just don't fall asleep. You're good if you don't fall asleep. Although she does bring up that Freddy now has this ability to bring her into the dreams when she's awake.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is what's happening, right? And so Dan is on his way home, and I couldn't help but think this is almost exactly the way Heather Langenkamp's husband in A New Nightmare dies.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar.
I agree with that. The other thing I also wondered about this, especially like the dream sequence that Alice just had, where are Alice's dream powers? Why is she not doing her flips and kicks and, doing all the things that she's capable of doing, controlling the dream?
Yeah, you bring up a very good question. Does she not still have everyone's powers?
Yeah.
So
you'd think, and she doesn't get anybody else's powers throughout this movie. She doesn't become the Phantom Prowler at the end.
Right.
But where are these abilities? Is it because she's pregnant she no longer has the abilities?
Oh, I don't buy that for a second. I don't think being pregnant has anything to do with it.
Yeah, because now maybe Jacob has all the powers. I don't know.
I don't think Jacob has any power other than the power that Freddy gives him.
Well, I was thinking more of Jacob now has the powers to bring people into the dreams. So that's how he's basically serving people up to Freddy now.
Why? Why would he be able to do that? Through osmosis?
I would assume so, that somehow, how else, there's all these weird mythic or mystic things going on that she's, because she even says at one point, he's using Jacob to get to other people's dreams.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but I always took it as Freddy using Jacob's dreams because he's constantly asleep. And since Freddy already has a tie with Alice, that's how he gets in. I never once thought that Jacob would inherit Alice's powers.
Well, I know you don't love it when I go to the comic books, but the comic books actually say Jacob becomes the Dream Master. He was always meant to be the Dream Master. So he was the one that was meant to have all these powers eventually and be Freddy's arch nemesis.
Well, I'm sure at that point they were trying to do anything to right the wrong that was this film.
Yeah, but they may not have even thought that far at this point.
Yeah. So Dan gets in his truck. He falls asleep again. This is the second time he's fallen asleep at the wheel or in his truck. And Freddy comes on the radio, and then everything starts to transform, and then Freddy shows up, takes his arm off. It was fucking weird, wasn't it?
Well, for me, the convenience of him falling asleep in the truck, unless kind of like Alice, he pulled Dan into the dream world while he was still kind of awake, but he knows Freddy's out there, Freddy's available. You think he'd be doing anything to keep himself awake, especially behind the wheel.
I agree. And then somehow Freddy fucks with him, injures him, whatever, and he's back at the pool like a loop.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing original there, guys.
Well, if you have the experience with Freddy, like when he crashed through and he's back at the pool, the first thought he should have had is, I'm still fucking dreaming.
Yeah, but what does he do? He gets on a fucking motorcycle.
Yeah, I would have basically stopped for a moment and said, he's fucking with me. I'm not going anywhere, fucking anything.
Yeah.
Anything that can kill me.
Yeah. And so he gets on the bike, and then this scene I know was cut down drastically as well. And I don't know why. I guess at the time the MPAA was having a fit about it, and you can watch the uncut stuff on YouTube. But essentially what happens is Dan physically morphs into this bike that Freddy's face is on the gas tank and talking to him and talking shit. Fucking dumb. Sorry. I didn't like it. I thought it was a bummer. And I think when I first watched this movie, it was at this point I said, uh-oh, we might be in trouble.
Well, I thought it actually started out okay with all of the things going into him, the wires, the plugs, his face kind of getting all fucked up and everything. I thought, oh, this is going to be a pretty gruesome kill. But then when they turned him into a Mad Max, I don't know what it was he was wearing with the flames, the Ghost Rider look.
Yes, Ghost Rider. That's what I said.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, this has just lost me at this point.
And then, of course, at the last second, Dan wakes up and he goes head on into a semi-truck or a truck or something, which conveniently happened to be right in front of the diner. And Alice rushes out. Did you notice what the guy who got out of the truck was wearing?
He was wearing a Freddy sweater. He was supposed to, at first, you're supposed to think that's Freddy getting out of the truck.
Yep. And then Alice looks at Dan and he's there dying and must still be dreaming because he pops up and says, hey, Alice, want to make babies?
Well, don't we, right before that, we get our first scene of I don't know, it was inside of an umbilical cord or whatever it is of Dan falling down into this little, I don't know, hole or whatever it is.
I
Or
think
she
it's
gets that behind him?
I think it's at the same time
Is it at the same time?
because I think she's looking and she sees him holding onto it.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of flailing down. At first, I thought it was the birth canal. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I assumed, I think either right then or later on, that was supposed to be the inside of an umbilical cord, feeding into Jacob.
Yeah. And so Dan is dead.
She passes out and she wakes up in the hospital, and conveniently, Yvonne
Is a nurse as well.
she's a candy striper.
Yeah.
And so she's, I almost said stripper, candy striper. And
This movie would have been better if she was a candy stripper.
yeah, and she's basically, surrounded by everybody telling her, and then she's like, what's wrong with me?
What a fucking dick doctor, right? He doesn't have the balls to tell her that she's pregnant. He's got to let the high school student do it.
Yeah.
And he breaks so many fucking laws when he calls somebody, I think he calls Dan's parents and says, I don't think she's very fit. This guy's a fucking dick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I also thought it was interesting that while she's getting this news, if you look in the background, you can see Dan's parents. They're not too broken up over Dan. They're just staring at Alice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw that. I noticed that as well. Were they the same parents from the fourth movie? I didn't even pay attention.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I
interesting.
said, Dan was a write-off for me.
Yeah, that's true. And so now that we cut to Alice and the gang, and she's going to break down who Freddy is. And Greta and Mark are like, okay, I could hear a little more. But Yvonne's like, fuck this. You guys are all crazy. This is nonsense. This is dumb. You're just tired. Yvonne kind of plays the typical parent role that are from all the other films.
Well, it's funny because, the Greta character, she is our major foreshadower of this movie. She has a line that says, the bottom line, Alice, if anybody's trying to hurt you, supernatural or not, they're going to have to go through us first. And she spells it out. Freddy's going through them first.
Yeah,
It's obvious, but
it's obvious. I guess is my point.
the one thing I kept thinking, especially when I saw this movie, is especially after all of this happens, who the fuck wants to be Alice's friend?
That's a good question.
Because all her friends just died in the fourth movie, and now most of her friends died in this fifth movie. If I was Yvonne, I'd get the fuck away from her.
Which is why we probably never saw them in 6.
Yeah.
So there you go. And while Alice is in the hospital, she sees Jacob
Yeah, Jacob comes to her room.
for the first time. And then she's like, shouldn't you be in your room? Your mom's worried about her. Your mom's probably worried about you. And he's like, no, my mom doesn't fucking care about me.
She didn't even want me.
She didn't even want me. And so he goes away. And then the next morning, she's talking to Yvonne going, oh, what's wrong with Jacob? Blah, blah, blah. And Yvonne's like, who the fuck is this Jacob character?
Yeah, we don't have any kids on your floor. Well, he must be in one of the part of the building. We don't have any kids in the building.
How does she fucking know that? And how does a hospital not have any fucking kids in the building? There's fucking writing, man. It's not doing anybody any favors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Alice is surrounded by disbelief. Dan's parents want custody of her unborn child, and Yvonne dismisses her fears. But her other friends, Greta and Mark, are more open to her warnings. Freddy strikes again when Greta falls asleep at a dinner party and is killed in a grotesque dream involving body horror and parental pressure. In reality, she dies in front of horrified guests. Mark, devastated, is nearly killed in his own dream but is saved by Alice. Jacob reappears and cryptically hints that Alice is his mother and Freddy is influencing him. An ultrasound confirms that Freddy is using her unborn baby, Jacob, as a conduit to access the real world, killing friends even when Alice is awake. As Alice and Mark dig into Freddy's origins, they learn that Amanda Kruger may hold the key to stopping him. Freddy, however, continues his rampage, pulling Mark into a comic book dream, turning him into a paper cutout and tearing him apart. After Alice gets out of the hospital, she has the gang over, and this is when she tells them about Freddy. He was a child murderer. He got burned alive. Then when he died, whenever anybody explains Freddy's origins, as soon as they get to the part where he dies, they always say, and that was just the beginning, or it got worse from there, right? Because then they explain that he kills you in your dreams.
Yeah, he kept on killing.
Yeah. And Mark and Greta are like, huh, interesting. And Yvonne's like, you're fucking stoned. That's fucking stupid. This is the really real world. Fucking wake up. And she's all pissed off. And her and Mark and Yvonne kind of go at it in certain bits of this film, because Mark is trying to understand and accept what Alice is going through because he cares about Alice. And Yvonne is kind of really trying hard not to write her off as crazy, but kind of thinks she's crazy for now. And so we cut to the dinner party, which to me felt very Tim Burton-y.
Well, one of the creepiest things I think in this movie is Greta sitting in her room surrounded by those creepy ass dolls.
Yeah, that wasn't going to end well.
I kept thinking those dolls are going to freaking kill her.
Probably. That's what you would have thought.
And then we get kind of the hint where she's looking at one doll, she puts it down as she's heading out to the dinner party, and the doll falls and the face cracks.
Right.
So I kept thinking Freddy's going to turn her into a porcelain doll and just break her. That was my first thought, that we're going to see her as a porcelain doll.
That probably would have been a good kill. I mean, not that this kill is horrible. The MPAA fucked it all up, but let's talk about it. Greta's mom is having a dinner party, and what we know about Greta's mom and family is that they're rich, and that Greta's mom wants Greta to be a supermodel, and Greta is fucking miserable. Right? This is what we know. So again, great parenting on Elm Street.
Did she remind you at all of Kristen's mother from 3?
No, she reminded me of one of the dinner guests in Beetlejuice.
Oh, I could see that. The hairstyle especially.
Yeah, exactly. And then just the way it was shot. And it wouldn't surprise me if when they were filming this, because they were filming this on the cuff, they didn't have a full script. So they were essentially making this up as they were going along. I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, hey, we saw this shot in Beetlejuice, let's use it. But yeah, I thought that this scene could have been better because Greta falls asleep. And
is there always in the, like, maybe since Freddy 2, that someone always has to say, well, when your friends just died, see how you handle it, kind of thing?
I think it's just in 3 and 4.
Just in 3 and 4?
Yeah,
I thought Jesse made a comment too or something.
Oh, he might have. I don't know. We'll have to go back and watch it. That one I'll watch again. But yeah, Greta's kind of pissed off. She's yelling at her mom or talking back to her mom, and the guests are like, ooh. And then she must fall asleep because she's tired, I guess. And Freddy shows up.
Well, I'm starting to think, like, remember how Alice was pulled into a dream while she was awake? That Freddy, like with Dan and everybody, Freddy's pulling them into the dream world while they're still awake. So maybe Dan really didn't just fall asleep. Maybe he was forced to sleep by Freddy. Maybe Greta was forced to sleep by Freddy while she was sitting at the table.
You're giving it way too much credit.
You think so?
I think the filmmakers show us them nodding off on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
So especially Dan.
Yeah.
And I think I know Yvonne does it, and I'm pretty sure Mark does it too. But anyways, we'll get there. But Greta's death. So essentially, Freddy is feeding her to death. But what they don't show you or tell you, what they should have, is that he is feeding her herself. He is gutting her with his claws and force feeding it to her. But the MPAA had such a stick up their ass that they had to cut it down. So what we get theatrically in The Dream Child is so disappointing. It just looks like he's stuffing her face full of food and Jello, cherry Jello.
That's what it actually, the first time I saw it, I'm like, I like cherry Jello. That actually looked good to me. The thing that really took me out of this kill was Freddy's spoon hand. That he had 2 claws with a spoon in the middle of it and was using that to serve it. It looked so dumb to me.
Yeah, I wonder if they were doing it because the shit wouldn't stay in and they just fucking forgot.
I thought they should have just put it in the palm of the glove and have him shoving it in her mouth, not this spoon thing that he's spooning it to her.
Yeah, no, that was pretty bad. And in the meantime, Alice is awake. She's at home, and she hears a noise in the fridge, a la Ghostbusters. And she opens it, and then we get this claymation time lapse.
One of the worst claymation time lapses I think I've ever seen.
It was dumb, right? It
just looked clicky. The way it moved.
And then she looks, and Greta's popping out, and she tries to grab onto her, and Freddy's like, nope, this bitch mine. But Alice is awake, so the audience is like, what the fuck's going on? Because at this point, we still don't know.
Well, I just chalked it up to maybe remember in the fourth movie, she kept having daydreams. And so she would see things like in the real world while she was daydreaming. So I thought, is this her just having her little daydreams and he's invading her daydreams?
Bud, that would make way too much sense, right? We can't have that make sense in this script.
Yeah.
Fucking guys. But either way, the Ghostbuster fridge door shuts, and there's a sign on the door. Do you remember what it said?
She's mine, bitch? Or,
something like that.
Or, yeah, something bitch.
Yeah. Because
die, bitch. I don't remember.
Something like that. And we cut back to the real world, I guess, and apparently Greta is choking.
Yeah, she just stands up and chokes, and nobody does
it. Flails her arms about. What does that do?
Everyone is just sitting around watching her going, okay, is she putting on a show?
Yeah, because in the dream, Freddy picks her up, and I guess he burps her, too, in the cut footage.
Oh, yeah.
And but as he's holding her and making the motion, we cut back to the real world, and that's what Greta's doing. So I chalked it up to kind of like when Tina's going up the wall, even though we don't see him. But you're right. What do the parents do? They sit there and watch.
The best part of this whole tragedy of a scene is that she flops down dead on the table, and all her mom says is, Greta?
And then we cut to Mark's warehouse or wherever he lives because Yvonne and Alice are worried about him. And Alice and Yvonne seem to be okay that their friend just died, but they go check on Mark. And Alice asks Mark your favorite question.
Which is?
Are you okay? Yep, never going to let you live that down. But.
No, because he's not okay. You already know the answer to that question.
And he says no, but the point is, she is giving him the opportunity to say it. That's what the point of doing that is.
You can always just say, I know you're not okay. Is there anything I can do?
Why? It doesn't matter. That's all I'm saying.
It's just a dumb, awkward question, in my opinion.
In your opinion, yes.
Everyone writes it that way, and it's a dumb thing to ask.
And so at this time, Mark's like, no, I'm not fucking okay. I fucking loved her. I know I never had a chance, but I'm fucking devastated. And I want to know more about Kruger. And Yvonne's like, God damn it. You guys are fucking stupid. Kruger doesn't exist. And Mark's like, maybe he does. And Yvonne's like, he doesn't. It's the really real world. And Mark's like, I'm going to believe Alice. And then Yvonne's like, I got to go to work.
And he's like, well, get the hell out.
Totally. And then he stops her. I'm sorry. And they make up. But Yvonne's got to go to the pool. And so Alice and Mark are going to do some research. And Alice is going to go make some coffee. But in the meantime, my man
climbs in bed and goes to sleep.
Falls asleep. And so when Mark falls asleep, Alice walks in with the cups of coffee and she sees the drawing of the house, the Elm Street house. And then she sees a cartoon version of Mark walking to it.
The aha version. I see what you're saying.
And I thought it was brilliant on Alice's part. Another redeeming quality. Okay. She literally draws herself on the picture.
I love her drawing of herself.
It's a stick figure and she puts Alice. She writes her name.
Is it wrong that I know it's not a great movie, but I would actually buy that picture with the drawn Alice and the house.
Oh,
I'd frame that and put on my wall.
I think I would too. I think that's kind of clever.
And the fact that she had to write her name Alice above the little character.
Right. And then she takes a step back, she closes her eyes, and bam, she's in the dream. And Freddy wants to attack Mark and does for a second, but he gets distracted. Well, not what happens.
In this one, she basically walks in the house and finds Mark in the hole, almost falling down in the little fetus hole or whatever it is. And my thought is, Freddy draws out his kills. He always tries to build up the fear and the anxiousness and all of that before he actually kills them. So Mark just walked in the house and fell down a hole.
Maybe.
There had to be more to it. Maybe there's something they cut. I don't know.
Well, and again, this goes back to the writing because most people only get 2 dreams with Freddy before they die, right? But Dan only really got 1 in this one, and Greta only got 1 in this one. So I think they're hurrying along, and I think they were trying to tell the audience that Mark was hanging in the umbilical cord because of the long tunnel, which I thought was the birth canal. This is the scene I thought it was. But he's hanging there, and yeah, he must have just fallen into the hole because that's how he cuts his hands, is by holding onto the
but it was
cord.
it was just so quick.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So it almost feels like it was a setup. So maybe you're right. Maybe Freddy was doing something and needed her distracted again for a sec.
Yeah.
And so she pulls Mark out and they get out of the dream.
And now Mark's a believer. Mark gets it.
He's sold.
Yep.
While she's in the dream, she meets Jacob again. And Jacob starts talking to her. And while she's in Mark's dream, saying that you're starting to see the bags under Jacob's eyes and that he's being influenced by his new friend.
The one with the funny hand.
And he starts making remarks, regarding the fact of, I'm your kid, why don't you even want me kind of thing. And she puts 2 and 2 together and realizes, fuck, you're my kid and Freddy's using you to get to my friends and everything.
Because we cut to the next day and she's talking to Yvonne and she says, do babies dream? And Yvonne's like, yeah, probably. And then they have to go get she wants to go get an ultrasound because she wants to make sure that everything is okay.
And she wants it on a Sunday. Like doctors in the hospitals don't work on a Sunday.
Right. And this bit kind of reminded me of Tron. Because when she's getting the ultrasound and she's getting all
that special
electrified,
effect really bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, nothing original.
Yeah.
And she is looking into the fetus and she can see the baby, but she can also see Freddy.
Which again, to me, that baby was, even though the doctor said, he's a lot bigger than normal, but that was almost a fully formed baby inside of her.
And she's not even showing.
Yeah.
And this is where we get Dan falling in and Greta falling in. And I guess we're told as the audience that Freddy is taking the souls and feeding them to Jacob because Jacob will be his conduit to get him back, I guess.
He's basically, Jacob's going to be his kid molded into his image.
Right. Yes, that's what it is. And Alice is freaking out. Is the baby okay? Baby okay? And the doctor's like, dude, the baby's fucking fine. It's healthy. It's a little big, but it's healthy.
And this is where she starts saying to Yvonne, he's after my baby. He's after my baby. He wants my baby, blah, blah, blah. And that's when the doctor looks at her as they're leaving and goes, I'm going to fucking call Dan's parents.
I'm going to break every HIPAA law that exists.
Yeah, he turns out to be a dick.
Yeah. And then we cut to Alice's house, and she's talking to Mark, and Mark is, he found a book or something, and they're talking about Freddy, and Alice's dad comes up, and then they go downstairs, and Dan's parents are there.
Well, I love while they're upstairs, and Mark is pulling out all the stuff. He pulls out a book that says Christian mythology on it.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things, the line that popped in my head was from what the movie we just watched recently, got to see again, was Dogma, where Metron says, he really hates it when you call it mythology.
And so Dan's parents are there, and they want custody. They are like, dude, come on. You're fucking nuts. You just graduated. You have your whole life ahead of you. And
well, they even pull the line of, if you don't give us the kid, we'll see you in court. And this, again, redemption arc for Dad when he gets to basically say, get the fuck out my house.
Yeah, and absolutely. And later that night, Alice and Dad are talking, and she says, are you disappointed in me? And he says, no. I hope it's a boy, and because it would be nice to have another little boy. It would be nice to have a little boy running around this house again.
But it is cute what he says after that, because I felt like that's a line you would say.
but let's not make this a habit.
Yeah.
yeah. Which was a great call out to Rick.
Mhm.
So Mark has made some progress, and he finds out that Amanda Kruger may be the key. And Alice is even like, Amanda Kruger may be the key. And she tells Mark, I'm going to go in. I love that. I'm going to go into the dream and see if I can find this Amanda chick so we can work it all out. You stay awake and watch me.
This is something that happens every single movie. I'm going to sleep. You watch me. You wake me if anything goes wrong. And the person who's watching always fucks up and falls asleep.
Doesn't happen in 4.
It doesn't happen in 4?
I don't think so.
Well, okay.
1 is Nancy and Glenn. 2 is Grady and Jesse. 3 is Will and Joey.
So it does happen in 3. Okay.
I said 4.
Okay. And 4?
4, I don't think it does.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think anybody watches in 4.
Because it's kind of a clusterfuck at that point because nobody believes. But you're right. Yeah, no, so a callback, I guess.
So I would never trust the person to watch me.
You wouldn't trust me to watch you while you slept?
No, you'd fall asleep. I would, the instant I fall asleep, I'm walking around the dream world looking around, I'd be like, damn, fucking Dawn, you're here?
Oh yeah, sorry, dude.
Sorry, late night.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. That's fair. And so Mark is watching Alice. Alice is going to sleep, and Mark is reading a comic book. And
is it wrong that while he's going through and he's reading all of his comics and everything and strung out, I was looking at each and every comic book going, yeah, I have that one. I have that one. I do have that one. I think I've read that one.
Is it wrong? No, but I thought for sure that's what one of your trivia questions was going to be. And it's Spider-Man, Avengers, Captain America, and there's another one.
There were several Spider-Man comic books.
I know, but I meant the character that it showed.
And then there was the one that he picks up was Something in Hell.
Yeah, which is the comic of the movie. Mm-hmm. And he starts flipping it, and that tells me he might be asleep. He might have nodded off. Great job. They do it in the remake.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a remake. Anyways.
And he gets another movie trope. I don't remember where I've seen it, where he's sucked into the comic book.
And I kind of had hopes for this sequence until they put Freddy on a skateboard. And then I was like, come on.
Yeah, he was not scary at all in any of this. And all the stuff falling made me kept thinking of the cars falling in 3.
Oh,
so maybe Freddy's running out of gimmicks. He's just rebranding or reusing the old stuff.
It's not Freddy's fucking fault. It's these writers and the director. And especially if they're making this up as they go along because they had no time, because they had no script. No wonder they're fucking pulling this out of their ass because they'd seen it before.
One thing I did appreciate as Freddy's going through and cutting the different things as he's heading towards Mark, they're all paper. They're all cardboard. And I thought, okay, so he's like in a comic book world. It really made that apparent.
Yeah, and I understand what they tried to do by making everything black and white and Mark in color. But they didn't do it in post. They physically shot it that way. Because you can tell, because we're in the black and white world, there are still yellow hints from lights that you can see. So it's not like it was truly black and white. They just painted everything gray or white. And that kind of bothered me.
Even the next thing that you really hated, which was, Mark turns into the Phantom Prowler to fight back.
Which I thought was a great gimmick and kind of maybe a callback to 3.
Because he's the only one in the movie who uses a dream power.
Because he he's the only one that thinks. Unfortunately, as we all know, these don't work in dreams. But it led to the point of the movie where I almost fucking got up and walked out. I threw up my hands, and every time I see it in like best of or worst of, or anytime I see it, I always say, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Well, this is what cracks me up is the Super Freddy actor that they got to play that part. Like you were just saying, they painted him black and white.
Yeah. Did you know he's also the body double they use in the opening when they're doing a little bit of sexy time?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So he got to be Sexy Dan and Super Freddy. So not bad, right? But either way, fucking dumb. Mark's superpower doesn't work anymore. But I did kind of like the way they did this. He's a cutout. He looks animated. And then Freddy slices him. And then all of the color rushes out of him. And I guess there's footage Freddy keeps slicing him. And the MPA said, nope, that's too much.
Well, they showed the paper flying and the little bits around him, but yeah. It just seemed like what more could have been that was so offensive in this scene.
Yeah. And during this, while this is going on, Alice is looking for Amanda, and she finds her. And
Well, she finds the brick wall that Amanda's probably on the other side of.
And she doesn't have time to get through it because she's in the dream, right?
Mhm.
And the gist of it is Amanda's form needs to be released from her earthly prison, meaning, or the way I took it was Amanda was locked in the asylum. She never left. That's where she died. That's where her spirit is. She never got buried. Even though we see her tombstone in 3. Wait a minute.
They touch on that because they say, "Wait a minute, then we saw her grave. Where wasn't she buried in it? Why? Where is she?" And they're like, "Well, they did some kind of cover up that they."
Oh, it's a hollow grave, shallow grave. Yeah, no, I remember that now.
They made some comment about that.
I think so. Yeah, and so now Mark is dead.
Yeah, which of course it took me a sec to realize how he died in the real world. Freddy made all the different things fall on him.
Yeah, and we see his bloody arm.
Yeah.
So Elise should be happy. We got to see blood after a Freddy death in the real world.
Yeah.
With a few allies left, Alice finally convinces Yvonne after rescuing her from a Freddy attack. Alice deliberately enters the dream world to confront Freddy and save Jacob. Yvonne finds Amanda's remains in the real world, releasing her spirit to aid Alice in the final battle. In the dream realm, Alice realizes Freddy has been hiding inside her all along. She draws him out, and with Amanda's encouragement, Jacob uses the powers Freddy has been feeding him to destroy the dream demon. Freddy's infant form is absorbed by Amanda, who seals him away once more. In the aftermath, Alice gives birth to Jacob and is seen months later enjoying a quiet picnic with her family. But the haunting chant of children playing nearby suggests Freddy's evil may not be gone for good. Roll credits.
So while Alice is looking for Amanda, she's getting close in the dream world. This is when Freddy decides to go after Yvonne to distract Alice.
And so we cut to the gym or the pool, whatever, and Yvonne's getting, she looks tired. She's been crying and kind of emotional. She's kind of fucked up. And so she wants to go dive because why not, right?
Well, first she's sitting in a hot tub.
Well, I was going to get there. She wants to go dive, right? But first, she wants to sit in a hot tub. And what do you do in a hot tub?
Sleep.
Because it's really fucking hot, right?
Yeah. Well, my thought is most divers that I've seen usually go from the pool to the hot tub, not from the hot tub to the pool.
Well, maybe she had dove a couple of times. We just didn't see it. Maybe it was one of those scenes that they filmed and never gave it to us.
Yeah, I just thought she was going to drown in the hot tub.
So did I. I thought she was a goner. So I'm thinking, okay, Yvonne's next, right? Mm-hmm. And what'd you think of when she was on the board and the claymation of the board turning into the claw?
First of all, it was kind of fakey. I thought if it turned into a hand, it would have been really cool. But okay, yeah, that was hokey for me. When she runs and she jumps and somehow jumps through the claw, I don't know how she does it. That was very odd for me. And I really expected and was almost disappointed that there was water in the pool when she landed.
Well, she lands into like a puddle. It looks like a puddle, right? Because it's supposed to show us that there's no pool.
So it's getting Freddy playing with his food?
Maybe, but what kind of threw me off is as she's falling and falling, the way she's falling, she somehow turns it into a perfect dive. And at that moment, I'm thinking, oh, okay, she's not gone yet, because why would they let her do that?
I wish when we saw her at the convention, we could ask her, what was it like to flail like that? Did they just have her up on some ropes and she's just flailing around?
I think she jumped. I think she jumped into, I don't know, a pool, or because it was all black. Yeah. Right. So clearly there was no light in there. And so they could have had it done it anywhere. So why not in a pool?
I thought they just strapped her up and just let her flail around like she was diving.
Oh, maybe. And then as she makes her perfect dive into the puddle, she is now in the dream world and she finds Alice. And she's like, what the fuck is this?
Well, first, I thought it was really interesting that Alice gets rolled into the boiler room, that little boiler area with the water. Freddy pops up out of the water and then pulls Yvonne up out of the water. I'm like, she was under that water quite a while.
And Alice saves her. And now Yvonne believes, right?
Well, we also get a little hint at Freddy's afraid of Amanda, because when Alice pulls Yvonne into the hallway and Freddy goes to go after them, he stops the door and kind of backs off like he's a little bit afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where Alice says, this motherfucker's afraid of his mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Because who isn't?
Exactly. And so they wake up and
I love Yvonne's line of, this shit's real.
yeah. And I'm never doing a jacuzzi again. But they have to come up with a plan because Alice has figured out that Freddy is using Jacob to get what he wants because Jacob is dreaming and she feels like Jacob is in danger. So she wants to go into the dream and save Jacob. And in the meantime, she sends Yvonne to the asylum,
The creepy asylum place.
to let Amanda out.
Which I'm thinking is like, what, a block away? Because she gets there awfully quick.
What does it sound like?
A dream?
We're going to go in and save Kristen. You guys go get Freddy's corpse.
Yeah.
So, come on. And, so,
Well, I was thinking, for me, Alice says, go find Amanda. The size of that asylum, she finds the right tower, the right area, the right floor, whatever, and the right brick wall. Just out of coincidence, or was she drawn there?
does Alice tell her it's a brick wall?
I don't know.
I was wondering, how did she know that that door was behind it or that Amanda was behind it?
I have no idea. I just assumed that maybe they both saw it in the dream, that's where they were, the hallway they were in, and that maybe, Yvonne could associate that from the dream, that this is the spot where maybe Amanda is. But that tower picture, the picture of the asylum, there were at least a couple of towers. She would have had to climb all these different towers trying to find it.
Huh? Yeah, probably. Little bit convenient. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So we are at the final showdown, and it's Alice against Freddy. What do you think of this visual?
Oh, the MC Escher stairways and
yeah.
all that stuff. I thought it was interesting because, it kind of fits the surrealism of a dream landscape, but again, not spooky, not scary. But I did like the whole leading Freddy into the asylum.
Yeah.
And to me, that would have been almost a better ending of lead Freddy into the asylum and lock him in there with all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, it would have been a better ending, but I don't think it would have taken care of Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I thought it was all right. It was disorientated at first, and the visuals were okay. And I don't know. Out of their $8 million budget, this is probably where most of it went.
Well, one of the scenes that happens here, when Freddy is led into the asylum and kind of pushed down the stairs, and then all of the maniacs grab him and rip him apart, and he turns into tarantulas. Did you hear the story of the tarantulas?
No.
They got something like 400 tarantulas or something like that and hand painted them green and red stripes so that they'd look kind of like Freddy, and then they lost them. Supposedly, they don't know what happened to all the tarantulas. They're somewhere still on that set somewhere.
No, they're dead.
They're probably dead, but they could have bred.
But did you notice that they were green and red?
I did in one scene. You can vaguely see the legs were a little bit green and red.
Never. They always just look black to me.
Yeah, if you look closely, kind of see hints of color on them.
Yeah, well.
They could have just done that with light, too. I don't know why they had to paint them.
Great use of time, guys. Great use of time. And so Alice finds Jacob, and she's like, Jacob, I'm your mom. You got to come with me. And he's like, well, my buddy here says I need to go with him. And then they have this kind of chase up and down the stairs, and Freddy almost getting him and not getting him. And then we cut back to Yvonne.
Well, one of the things when we get to see Freddy on the stairwell and everything after being ripped apart, he's right back to having the weird arm hanging, dangling from the side, and his foot's over here and all.
Well, because he's putting himself back together, right?
Yeah, just weird look again.
But in 3, he had a big fucking hole in his chest and just flashes his hands and it's healed.
Yeah.
All right? Fucking inconsistencies. And
so anyway, yeah, they're doing this whole little comical chase scene. I felt like they should have added in the Keystone Cop music.
yeah. And then we cut back to Yvonne, and she magically, as we were saying, finds the room. She breaks open the bricks, and we see Amanda's silhouette or form.
Just looking out the window.
And Yvonne goes to touch her, and like all other movies, it just kind of collapses. But Amanda gets to say, thank you. But I'm shocked that Amanda didn't say, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
I was actually thinking that your favorite line from Star Wars, that's what happened at that scene, that she had basically become one with the Force.
Yeah, there you did. There you go. There you go. And so we cut back to the fight, and this is the bit where Alice and Freddy separate because we find that Freddy was part of Alice.
Well, what Jacob says to her, because she says, where is he? I can't find him. Where is he? I can't sense him. And Jacob's like, well, he's where he's been hiding this whole time. Where's that? Inside of you.
And so they split apart.
Which was an interesting, the whole makeup and all of that. I thought it was okay at first, but a little odd. But people are saying that was a call out to 2 and Jesse separating from Freddy.
It wouldn't surprise me because they didn't fucking do it. They didn't have any of their own original ideas. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise me. I did find it clever, though, that in order to pull off the effect, they found a guy who had no legs.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And the stunt double for Lisa Wilcox. And even Lisa Wilcox they built like a harness. And so they moved around like that. And
I always thought
fake legs.
I always thought the legs in the back just dangling around and flopping around always looked funny to me. It was almost just comical.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Magic legs.
You got spice legs.
And as they're fighting or when they separate, Freddy's like, yeah, bitch. And Amanda shows up.
That's when Freddy gets serious and says, oh, shit, I'm done with this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama. And Amanda tells Jacob, use the power of the Force. I mean, use the power that Freddy gave you. And I'm thinking, what fucking power? And then I thought, oh, he's got 3 whole souls in him.
Yeah, well, the first thing she says, like, your mom won't triumph unless you do something. Hey, Freddy, I want to learn from you.
Yeah, so this kid is bait and switching Freddy. And
now,
Freddy even kind of looks at him like a second, like, are you fucking sure?
This is one of the things, again, these freaking censors just overstepping. This 11-year-old boy was not supposed to say, school's out, Freddy.
He was supposed to say, fuck you, Freddy.
Fuck you, Krueger.
Yeah.
And that, I think, would have been like, oh, damn, kind of moment, at least having a kid say something like that. But no, an 11-year-old child cannot say such things.
Oh, which is bullshit because we've seen 1,000 movies before this where they've swore.
Yeah. At what age were your kids telling you to fuck off?
I'm sorry. My kids do not tell me to fuck off.
Yeah, not to your face.
Never once. And so we have Freddy Jacob, because they gave Jacob Freddy's makeup a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically pukes on Freddy, right?
He just spits out the little souls or something.
And they grab Freddy, and the souls are pulling Freddy back to Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
And he...
I love that they put little heads on all of these little... whatever they were dangling out of Freddy, and each one was the face of how they had died.
Yeah, you got Fat Greta, you got the Phantom Prowler, and you got Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Ghost Rider Dan.
Yeah. And so they pull Freddy back to Amanda, who I think absorbs Freddy. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
call it reverse childbirth.
Yeah, she just kind of pulls him into her belly. And I loved how that was so violent and so nasty. And then here's all pretty with, Alice with baby Jacob, who I
Right.
guess was a female baby that they used in that scene.
Oh, how funny.
But she just absorbed. It's all warm and beautiful.
Oh, it's contrast, right?
Yeah.
You have your good versus your evil. And Amanda's backing up saying, go live. I will contain him. I will hold him. And then Freddy's claw busts out of her tummy.
I love the lines that Freddy's saying as, let me out, bitch.
Yeah. Which tells us, I mean, clearly Freddy's not dead.
No,
He's not going anywhere. So all they did was kind of lock him up for a moment.
that was my thought of all the different Freddy kills. Each one could have been an ending point, could have been, is Freddy really gone? We don't know. All they did in this movie is they slammed a bunch of doors. He broke a bunch of doors. They slammed a metal door. He's still behind the door.
Yeah.
He's not gone. He's coming back.
Yeah. And I think this goes back to them not having a full script.
Mhm.
I mean, they just kind of made it up, and it's fucking disappointing, and it let me down. This is probably my least favorite way of them dispatching Freddy. I'll take the pipe bomb in the chest over this any day of the week.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me. That's just me. And then we cut to daytime. We're assuming it's months later because Jacob is born, and Dad and Alice and Yvonne.
It could have been the next day because he was pretty much already fully formed, months into the pregnancy.
That's a fair point.
Days into the pregnancy.
That's a fair point. I'm going to give that to you. And so we see them all having the picnic, but then we hear, for the last time until the remake, the nursery rhyme. And that's how we end A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Yep.
All right, what do you think? You ready to rate this flick?
Just like a pregnant Amanda, I'm not sure what's about to come out. It could be an abomination against God, but either way, I'm ready.
All right. Here at the Three Guys, we do our ratings on a 0 to 5 fuck scale. 0 means we don't give a fuck about the movie, and 5 is cinematic gold. I will go first because, I picked the series, and essentially I made you watch this again. And again, I say I'm sorry, John.
Can I guess your rating?
Yeah.
I am guessing you are going to give it 0.75.
Final answer?
That is my final answer.
What can I say that we haven't said throughout this podcast? It is my least favorite. I don't like Freddy. I don't really like the characters. The deaths are dumb. It felt rushed. It was rushed. It was too bad that it didn't get the love and respect that the Nightmare franchise deserves, especially after 4. But they had to make that money. So this is what we got. I'm giving The Dream Child 0.75 fucks.
That's a bingo.
Well done, sir. That really was my fucking score.
I have a perfect batting average.
Nice. Wow, you're even using the terms correctly.
Before I go, would you like to guess my rating?
Well, you are a little bit more forgiving than I am in certain things. You are going to give it... It's not your least favorite. 6 is your least. You're going to give it 2.25.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, definitely is not my favorite of the series. The one-liners that I love about the movie series fell flat on this one. I liked the twist using the baby, but it felt rushed. And the deaths, the 3 that we got, felt a bit over-edited, which pretty much they were. I liked that they brought Alice back, but I feel like she gave a better performance in 4 than she did in 5. This also didn't feel like a good Freddy ending, a Freddy kill. Just more of an, okay, they trapped him for the next 10 minutes. So it's for those reasons I'm giving Dream Child 2.25 fucks out of 5. Not my favorite, but not my bottom of the list.
Pretty fucking close, though, right?
It is pretty close. But, I also factor in the remake, and I know you don't factor in the remake.
Oh, no, I definitely factor in the remake.
The remake is the bottom,
Yeah.
followed by 6 right above that.
With 0.75 fucks from me and 2.25 fucks from the comic book guy, that gives A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, an average of 1.5 fucks. Which now ties it in the 38th spot with A Scanner Darkly, the Halloween 2007 remake, and Idiocracy. It is slightly better than Rock of Ages, Cocaine Bear, The Natural, and 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. And it is slightly worse than Moulin Rouge, Blazing Saddles, and Cape Fear. So there you have it.
There you have it.
All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, John, where can they find us?
They can find us at threeguysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post all of our show notes. You can find all of our podcasts there, and we have a form on there that you can submit a movie you would like us to review next. You can also find us at all of social media, where on X and Facebook on Tuesdays, I'm actually posting the movie that we will be releasing the following Thursday. And you can find us at any place that hosts podcasts. In fact, while you're listening to us, make sure to subscribe, as well as if you leave a comment, you can actually put in there a movie you'd like to go in the helmet.
All right. 5 down, 3 to go. We are making our way through this Elm Street series, and I, for one, am kind of happy that we're getting close to the end.
What series are we going to do next?
I don't know. I mean, we finished Lord of the Rings. We're almost done with No, I guess we're not almost done with Star Wars.
No, but I think we should do the Hellraiser series. There's probably a lot of them you haven't seen.
Can we do the ones that were theatrically released and all the ones that went to video not do?
Isn't there only 2 that are theatrically released?
Biggity bam, brother. I just want to thank anyone who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
Thanks for listening. Bon appetit, bitch.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, dive into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Don as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops knowledge, shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd, we break it down, make sure you're heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know we always give a fuck, no lie.
For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to sing a melody of Nightmare on Elm Street songs. Dream warriors, don't want to dream no more.
For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
And where the fuck is the professor? All right, what do you got?
I have I have 2, I think. Yeah, I have 2.
Okay, I might have 1. Go ahead, you do yours first.
Nookie on My Street 5, The Dream Ride.
That's not bad. I'm going to use your Nookie on My Street. The 5, The Dream Kink.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. A Nightmare on Meat Street 5, The Dream Grind.
That's not bad as well. And I'm going to say yours 5, The Dream Comer. As I mentioned earlier, my cousin Beaver watched this movie with me, and I asked him, I said, hey, Beav, what did you think of A Nightmare on Elm Street 5? And here's what he had to say.
Hello there, Don.
How was Dream Child?
Fucking sucked.
Why?
Fucking worst movie ever. Ever. All right. 10 minutes of my life that I'll never get back again because I fell asleep, and it's horrible. Do not recommend it at all. Now I must golf.
All right. May all of your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right. Fuck up. Good night.
Three guys in a flick, keep the passion alive.